Y'all see the title, man. Let's get to it.
If you ask me, one of the most controversial and polarizing players in the history of the game is the Chicago Bulls six-time champion small forward, Scottie Pippen. Believe it or not, there were many times where Pippen was the biggest man on the court and showed that he had the balls to lead Chicago when Jordan couldn't. That's why today's video is brought to you by Manscaped.
Oh, get your money, get your money, get your money.
Two spikes far with promo code Arnett at manscaped.com. Some act like he was the only reason Michael Jordan was ever successful, and some even go as far as saying that he was the true GOAT and the player who was most responsible for the Bulls' 6th championship.
Nah, that's kind of crazy. Say he's the true GOAT. Come on, that's the trolls. That's trolls.
Seriously, these people actually exist. Then there's the other side of the extreme, which is the narrative that Pippen was not a legitimate superstar and was a guy who was carried to success because of Jordan's greatness. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not a person who leans toward either extreme, as I fully recognize that Jordan was the best player on the Chicago Bulls in 80 to 90% of the games they played. But I gotta say, I'm seeing too many people today diminish all of Pippen's contributions that may have ultimately been the difference in whether or not they won various championships. Today, I'm highlighting the instances where Scottie Pippen outshined.
I see some of that too. But it's mostly because what Scottie does off the court, and that's what I said before. You know, in many videos before, you can't let something that these players does off the court affect the way you rank them on the court. You know, you can't allow that to affect it, because if you do, you know what I'm saying, these guys be doing crazy stuff. So, alright.
Teammate Michael Jordan during their championship runs. And let me know in the comments whether or not you believe Scottie Pippen gets enough credit for these performances. So without further ado, let's get into it. First off, Game 3 of the 1997 NBA Finals against the Utah Jazz. Everyone remembers Michael Jordan's legendary shrug game, where he tied the NBA Finals record for the most three-pointers made in a single game. Well, no one ever mentions the fact that Pippen broke that franchise record just a few years later.
Wait, word?
On that evening, Pippen was sniping.
Was he hitting that motherfucker like how Mike hit that joint back? You know what I mean? Because if it wasn't back, you know what I'm saying? That's probably why, you know? It was more so just in the flow of the whole game, you know? Let's see though.
Great rate, as he made a total of 7 3-point shots. On the evening, Pippen finished with 27, 4, and 4 on 54% shooting, to Jordan's 26, 6, and 3 on 41% shooting. Ultimately, Scottie's valiant effort was in vain, as the Jazz won the game with a final score of 104 to 93. Next up is Game 5 of the 1991 NBA Finals against the Los Angeles Lakers. Once again, this was a contest where the majority of the credit went to MJ, as he trusted his teammates down the stretch and leaned heavily upon John Paxson to make open shots when Jordan kicked it out.
I remember this series. You reacted to this series a lot. I kept calling him Pac-Man. My boy Paxson.
But again, no one ever mentions how Scottie was the top performer in their first championship clinching game. On the night, Pippen had 32, 13, 7, and 5 steals on a true shooting percentage of 59%, compared to MJ, who had 30, 4, 10, and 5 steals on a true shooting percentage of 57%. Thanks to this dominating performance from both players, the Bulls won with a final score of 108 to 101. Next is Game 6 of the 1992 Eastern Conference Finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers. At this point in time, the combination of Mark Price and Brad Daugherty made the Cavs legitimate title contenders, and they were no easy out for Chicago. You would think that the Bulls star who closed it out with an efficient scoring performance and earned their second straight trip to the finals would have been Michael Jordan, but in this case it was actually Scottie, who dominated basically every aspect of the contest, as he dropped 29 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, and 4 blocks on 48% shooting, compared to MJ, who had 29, 8, and...
Sheesh, Scottie. You know, sometimes it just feels like when you're watching some of the highlights, not the full games, but when you watch some of the, no, sometimes even when you watch the full games, I ain't gonna lie. Some full games it just look like Scotty's just not doing much, you know. And then some games he wakes up, but I feel like that's mostly because people tend to post the games where Michael Jordan was doing well, you know, and not really the ones where Scottie was doing as good, you know, because people don't really care as much. Where's it?
And 8 on 37% shooting. Thanks to this complete controlling effort from Pippen, the Bulls won the series with a final score of 99-94. Next is Game 2 of the 1993 Eastern Conference Semifinals against the Cleveland Cavaliers. In search of their first three-peat, the Bulls once again found themselves in a matchup with an impressive Cavs team. In this case, it was a more well-rounded team effort for Chicago. But make no mistake, Pippen was the player of the game in this one as well, as he dropped 19 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 steals on 53% shooting, while MJ had 18, 5, and 6 on just 44% shooting. Ultimately, the Bulls won with a final score of 104-85. Now, you can't really say that Pippen saved the 1993 championship with this performance, because the reality is the series was never really in question, as the Bulls swept the Cavs 4-0. But regardless, there's no doubt that Scottie definitely did his part in their trip to the finals. The next one is Game 3 of the 1993 Eastern Conference Finals against the New York Knicks. Whenever these two rivals met up, it was guaranteed that there would be plenty of intensity and a physical style of play. Because of this, these contests were often low scoring, with lower field goal percentages. But that wouldn't be the case for Pippen on this night, as he brought his A game and put up strong numbers of 29, 4, and 4 on a lethal 83% shooting.
That's definitely lethal. Like the words, the terminology used right there. Definitely lethal. You know, that's gonna kill him right there.
While MJ had 22, 11, and 8 on a terrible 17% shooting for the field. Thanks to Scottie carrying the offense, the Bulls won the game with a final score of 103-83. Next on the list is Game 3 of the 1996 first round against the Miami Heat. It was yet another series that the Bulls were heavily favored to win, but on this night, Pippen especially made sure that there would be no upset. Like many times in his career before, Scottie was an absolute force on both ends of the court, as he put up dominant numbers of 22 points, 18 rebounds, 10 assists, and 3 blocks on 50% shooting, while MJ had 26, 3, 2, and 3 steals on 43% shooting. Miami never stood a chance, as Pippen's triple-double led Chicago to a 112-91 victory. Last on the list is Game 3 of the 1996 Eastern Conference Finals against the Orlando Magic. Most of you off the top of your head know how this series went. The 72-10 Bulls swept the 64-win Orlando Magic, and usually the narrative
64. They only lost 8 more games than the Bulls, and they got swept.
Was that Michael Jordan executed his revenge after being eliminated by the Magic the previous season.
Oh yeah, we watched the video on that too.
The revenge was all Scottie's, as he put up 27, 6, and 7 on 79% shooting, while MJ had just 17, 7, and 4 on 36% shooting. This performance from Scottie is especially impressive when you consider just how low scoring the affair was, as the Bulls won the game in dominating fashion 86-67. Again,
counted more than 38 points. That's tough.
And say that if I was to make a video about the playoff games where Michael Jordan outshined Scottie, then that video would be 1 to 2 hours long.
See, yeah, so it's like, you know, it's not to say this was happening a lot. You know, because you see, we can count on our hands how many times this happened, basically. You know, according to Johnny's video.
The point of this video is not to diminish MJ's impact as a perennial championship leader, but rather it's to emphasize the impact of the great Scottie Pippen. Yes,
that's a fact. Cause I do see people, saying bash my boy Scottie. You know, it's not. And it's cause what he's been saying about Mike, you know. recently, you know, he's just been going on the rant. Well, wasn't really recently. It's about 3 months ago now. You know, going on the rampage, talking all that, you know, stupid stuff, nonsense, if you want to call it, you know. And he got people underrating him now. And they got no problem doing it because they're making it easy for him now. He making it so easy for them to, you know.
Are often far too slept on. And regardless of your opinions on him since his retirement, his resume as a winner certainly deserves the respect. So what do you guys think? What is Scottie Pippen without Michael Jordan? And what is Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen?
I like that question. Answer that in the comments down below. You know, click on the last reaction, turn on post notifications, like the video, comment, and subscribe. I'm out of here, man.